I found my GFS Reddit post and I am heartbroken, and angry. Sorry for the lengthy post, I just need to vent a little. I met my GF at work a couple of years ago. It was her first day at her new job after finishing school. We work in the building industry. She is 5 feet 3 inches, has long dark hair, intense green eyes, a beautiful face and an amazing strong body. She's gorgeous is what I'm trying to say. I was instantly smitten, as were multiple of my co-workers. She gets hit on a lot at work by guys that don't know her/us, and I walk around with a smirk on my face when I observe this, because sorry guys, I have no idea what I've done to deserve her, but she loves me. Fortunately she is easygoing and doesn't have a hard time brushing it off. Anyways, we started talking about life and I found out she owns a house and she is a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Dang, this girl is a badass. The only family she has left is her 81-year-old grandmother who lives with her. This spoke volumes to me. She is not only strong and responsible, she is also caring, loving and an amazing person. We had so much fun together while getting to know each other. I still remember how nervous I was about asking her out and how I was jumping from joy inside when she said yes. We took our time getting to know each other, but I started realizing that not everything was as perfect as it seemed in the beginning. She slowly started opening up about her past, how neglected she was as a child. Her father never wanted her and her mother and stepfather hated her. They beat her on a daily basis and tortured her regularly. She has several scars and burn marks on her body to this day. She was repeatedly locked in her bedroom for days, a few times for up to a week without food, water, or access to a bathroom. She ran away from home many times even at a young age and got into trouble in so many ways. She started taking the bus on her own when she was 5 to her grandparents' house. It's a 5-hour drive. One time when she was 6 a bus driver wouldn't let her on the bus without her parents' consent, so she just wandered the streets until she fell asleep in a park. They never reported her missing and no one intervened. She has always done relatively well in school, this is just because she's smart as hell, and therefore the school never worried enough about her to intervene. She lost her virginity when she was 12. He was the same age and was also a troubled kid. They grew up together and from my understanding they offered great support to each other. I don't blame them for going at it at this young age. Puberty is hard enough as it is, imagine going through it with no support and guidance at all from the adults around you. I haven't gotten the whole story, but she was eventually forced to watch while a man shot him in the head. He died instantly. She was in a car accident a few years later that killed her second boyfriend and almost killed her. She had a lengthy recovery at a rehabilitation center out of town. Her mother didn't even visit her at the hospital or at the rehabilitation center. Because she was only 16, her grandfather had to take her back to her mother after. She wanted to stay with her grandparents, but her mother didn't allow it. I don't understand why. About 2 months ago I moved into her house. I was at her house 95% of the time anyways and it just felt right, so we went with it. Last week we were doing stuff around the house, settling in, but out of nowhere I came into the living room and found her sitting on the floor crying and I immediately saw the emotional pain she was in. I don't know how else to explain it. I had no idea what was going on or what to do, so I just let her cry it out while I held her. Eventually I looked around and there was a small open box with a lot of pictures in it. It looked old, so I realized she was crying about old trauma. I later, with her consent OFC, looked through the stack of pictures and for the first time I saw pictures of her at a young age. Adorable baby and childhood pictures of her and her friend who was killed. Puppy love pictures from her preteen and teen years. She was just as beautiful back then as she is now. How could anyone hurt this tiny adorable baby and child? I don't get it. There is also a necklace in a Ziploc bag in the box. I saw it was broken but I really didn't pay it much more attention than that, until I saw her post on Reddit today. I was scrolling on Reddit after work and somehow stumbled upon her post. She has a really hard time talking about her past, but her post definitely included some therapy writing. As this rant is for me too. She explained the story behind the broken necklace and asked in the relationship advice subreddit if it is disrespectful to me if she keeps the pictures and the necklace. In between the lines I can sense some hesitation because of an asshole, an ex that I didn't know about, who berated her for keeping the necklace and broke it many years ago. I am going to look into having it fixed tomorrow, but I don't know how realistic this is as it is broken pretty badly. I am heartbroken after reading her story. I am so angry. I am so frustrated. Why did no one help her out of her misery? How do people find it in themselves to hurt a child? Why do people feel threatened by dead people who when alive showed nothing but love? Why didn't I meet her many years ago so she wouldn't have to struggle as much for all these years? She was a baby. She was a child. Why? Just why? Shit, I need therapy. I know what individual therapy is like. But I'm wondering if couples therapy would be a good option for us. I really love this girl and I want to be the most supportive BF, and hopefully someday husband, to her. But I have no idea what I'm doing and how to navigate moving forward without letting my anger and frustration be somewhat in control of my thought process. Can someone explain to me how couples therapy works? If you've read this far, thank you. She is not home yet, but will be within a couple of hours. I have no idea what I'm going to say to her. But I know if I don't start crying again when she gives me her hello kiss like she always does, she will see that I have been crying like a baby for over an hour, and either way I will have to explain myself. Wish me luck. Comment. Damn. Op, you sound like an amazing guy and I'm so glad you found each other. Sending you a hug, one for your GF, and a big group hug. ETA, just found her post. Op, I wanna give you even bigger hug. Honestly, tell her how you feel. You're heartbroken because you saw her post. Reassure her. Ask her if she wants to share more about the items and photos. Talk about the happy memories and the sad. Whatever she wants to share. But the biggest thing is reassure her like you're already doing. EDAX2, I am team therapy because it really does wonders, and couples therapy is a great way to build on your foundation and improve communication. As someone whose queen had a hard early life and horrible dating history, I would suggest loving her as she deserves and don't let anyone hurt her without proper consequences from you. See my history for some of the details mine has been through. Above all else, treat her like the queen she is and never let her forget how truly special and loved she truly is. Op. I agree with most of the comments. You are aces in my book. Your compassion, not just empathy, speaks volumes of the sort of person you are, and your love for her. Therapy plus communication would definitely be the key to navigate this. There are some stellar advice already shared. Merely resonating them. Good luck to the both of you. Never be afraid of therapy. It's an amazing way to get support and find solutions to unseen problems. Think of it as a relationship tune-up. You can do individual with the same person to get specific personal insights as well. You can't control her past, and if you did, she would not be the person you know now, and neither would you. Be presently who you are and move forward toward common goals together. It's not safe to drive forward looking in the rear view mirror the whole time. Next story 2. My girlfriend disappeared and seems to have gone back to a toxic ex. How do I process it? Someone I was dating broke things off a month ago. I thought it was my fault and then recently saw a picture of her out with her toxic ex. I'm wondering if you've had similar experiences and how you processed it and found closure not knowing what really happened. Background: she moved to the city last year and now we work together. We became good friends over a few months. Finally we started dating and it was great for 8 weeks. We were inseparable and she opened up in ways she hadn't before. She was ready for something serious after breaking off from M33 late last year. It was refreshing she could be herself, wear what she wanted, etc. The sex was great. We supported each other through some hard times and had some very intimate moments together. There was an occasional argument, usually misunderstanding, but we'd talk it through and trust good intentions. We were content. Early on we speak about our pasts and I mention a bad experience with an old GF with unfinished business with an ex. She's still loosely friends with her exes, but wanting to be sensitive and not risk us F24 volunteers not to talk to her last, who is still into her. I thank her for being considerate. To assure me, she says she checked out a year before she ended it as he called her names, let her believe he was cheating to punish her for things, and probably was sexually demanding, abusive to strangers, etc. She'd stayed with him through a tough time and left when she could. I had nothing to worry about. She could only have eyes for one person, she said. Weeks later we're watching something on her phone and he texts her. I'm a bit surprised and she carefully explains she just needs to drop off his stuff when home. They'll meet in public just for coffee. I understand and respect her being decent to him and honest to me. She goes home. Nothing is said about it. She tells her friends back home about me who are glad she's finally found the right person. She wants me to visit. She comes back. All seems fine. 2 days pass. We're chatting and she mentions some expensive hobbies. Coming from nothing I feel a bit insecure and am quite dismissive. It upsets her as she associates it with her life back home, a sensitive topic. I apologize sincerely and explain where it came from and see a therapist to work through it. F24 says we're fine, no hard feelings, but her behavior changes entirely. Now she can't trust me with her feelings. We need to slow down. She can't take me home. No sex. It's different now. I engage with her hobbies and take her to do them together. But I sense she's still off. I can't work out why and get anxious, which just frustrates her. Maybe we need a break, she says, but she needs time to think about it. We carry on but one night I see her texting him again. She wants to be friends with him. She admits she didn't drop the stuff off because he rescheduled and instead she took him for lunch alone and then drinks with friends, and he professed his love to her as he put her to bed drunk at a party. She turned him down because she wants something serious and can't trust him. Fine, I say, but why say one thing to me and then do another and hide it? She gets visibly nervous but brushes it off, saying she didn't have time to tell me because of our argument. She gets colder and I lose my mind, stressed by the inertia. 2 days later I ask to chat so we can break the cycle. She calls me and tells me it's over, saying the relationship is clearly bad for my health. I say that's missed the point. She gets visibly anxious again and apologizes for what she's done and asks for space for self-reflection. I was convinced I'd ruined it by being insensitive and too much with erratic bouts of panic and felt terrible for weeks trying to better myself. We haven't spoken for a month. She was going to give me my things back but hasn't faced me yet. She shared some specific posts seemingly reaching out to me. And then recently she shared a picture on a public profile within a hotel room and then holding her in a restaurant on her birthday, just them. It's messed me up. I don't know how it all changed so suddenly. I fully leaned into this because she said she had to. She was never malicious, always considerate. She was clear he was wrong for her. But why try to be friends? Why hide it from me? Or am I reading into it too much and as she said they're just old friends with history? What does self-reflection mean? Without knowing I'm struggling to process what's happened, how to conduct myself and to understand how I feel. I feel guilty for the argument and losing her trust based on what she said. But I feel hurt and cheated based on what she did. It's hard to reconcile both. If anyone has done this before and can fill in the gaps or share their experiences, I'd be grateful. Sorry for the long post. I'm still trying to connect the dots. And thank you. TL.Dr. Everything seemed perfect until she went home and saw an ex. She told me I had nothing to worry about, but she completely changed towards me. I don't know if I'm reading too much into the ex or if I'm to blame. Now she won't speak to me at all. How do I find closure? Comnet. Some women like a bad boy. No matter how he treats her and what he does, she'll forgive him. Once she feels she's had enough, she'll run, but if he comes calling, she'll go running back. It's a very old story, I'm afraid. It's nothing you've done, don't beat yourself up about it, you're just not him. She knows it's stupid and she's embarrassed about it, but she can't change it. You reacted as well as you could, given the circumstances. You gave her the benefit of the doubt, and even though she turned out to not really deserve that, this way you get to look back and know that you did everything you could have to make it work. You didn't get closed off and drive her into his arms, that was her choice alone. Now you have to be strong for yourself and completely remove her from your life. Don't entertain it if she comes crawling back after her toxic ex turns out to be, well, toxic. Giving someone the benefit of the doubt once is plenty. Sounds like she thought she was ready until she saw him again and didn't know how to tell you, and then felt guilty because she did care for you. Whether it was about your anxiety or him, she wasn't able to give you what you needed. Try to accept that and look forwards.